Welcome to the Gritty Podcast. I am your host, Brian Call, and I am joined by my brother, the Gritty Broman. How are you, Brent?
I am well, thank you.
All right. Well, today's podcast is part 3 of an In the Field podcast series that we recorded on our recent bear trip, spring bear hunts. We recorded them in the field, so there's no video to go with these. It's pretty much all audio. We just couldn't carry all the gear and use the batteries and everything to record in the field, being as remote as we were.
That, and you've been out there for 12 days, so you're looking quite rough.
But we really did want to try recording them in the field. Mm-hmm. So we're real curious what you all think and if you appreciate this style of doing it in the mountains instead of when you get home. You know, it was real fresh on our mind, and you're kind of experiencing the hunt with us at the same time. But another way to experience the hunt is to actually watch them, because we have been putting together, working our butts off, publishing the video series to coincide with these podcasts. So check that out. Go to our YouTube channel. Go to briancall.com. You can find links there. And check out this bear series. We're getting a lot of really positive reviews. People are digging it. And that really, right now we're giving away a Stealthy Hunter gun cover, which is a new product that Ryan Lampers has come out with. And it's a pretty cool product. He and I tested it all last year.
You guys, if you watched the Mule Deer series last year, you probably saw the rifle strapped to the backpack.
Yes. And then we used it quite a bit. And then Ryan has kind of his, final version that he's got brought to market. So check that out. And if you watch the bear hunt videos and you like the videos and leave a comment, you're entered to win. We're going to pick a few lucky winners, give away some covers. So check that out. And right now for about another month, you can save 10% at Alpaca Rafts using the code GRITTY2020. And they're sweet. We've talked about them a whole bunch. I love the things. They're game changers. I kind of feel like for bear and for deer, that caribou is hard to resist. It's a 5-pound raft, and we were able to just cross rivers, float rivers, go places. You shove all your stuff in the cargo area. Nothing can get wet. It's such a light piece of gear at 5 pounds. You can pack that thing to some remote areas, and if the river's not a death trap, you can float that sucker down. Although this raft could handle some rapids, I was impressed. So check that out. It's, again, you probably save about $100 or more depending on what you get.
Mm-hmm.
So
5-pound raft can hold up to, was it 400?
400 pounds of weight. We did some math, and that's really conservative. When we did our podcast with Thor, the owner.
Thor Tingy.
Yeah, he mentioned how, the weight ratings are a little conservative. So we definitely overloaded our rafts, and they handled beautifully. Check that out if you're interested in raft. And every purchase there helps us out too. Mm-hmm. Same is true at Sissy Sticks. That's another piece of gear that we love. And check that out. You can get 15% off at Sissy Sticks if you use the code GRITTY. Get yourself a pair of half carbon fiber, half aluminum trekking poles that are bad ass. And then code GRITTY at Seek Outside for a sick shelter. Use the code GRITTY at Heather's Choice. You save 15% off on backcountry meals and snacks. And also use the code GRITTY at Mountain Ops to save on shipping for all your supplement needs from Mountain Ops. I use that merino top that Mountain Ops is coming out with as of this recording. I don't think it's out yet, but it's coming out here real soon. I use that merino top, and I really liked it. I've always been a huge fan of merino, and you can wear that thing day in and day out. I wore it 12 days. Sweat, hiking, grime. It doesn't take on odor. It's unreal. And it's comfortable. Like, it still feels like a fresh garment. Even after all that sweat and grime, like a synthetic would reek. It'd turn into cardboard. I'd have trouble sleeping in it in my sleeping bag at night because it's just so grimy and my skin is itchy. But in merino, this merino was real comfortable. And it was a lighter, thinner weight merino. And that's what I'm going to say is the downside to merino is it can tear real easy. Like, you're going through brush and you're rubbing up against stuff, and merino catches and it can tear a hole in it. Mm-hmm. But you just got to know that. And to me, I don't care if I get a few holes in it. Suzanne stitches them. If you look at my old Kuyu and First Light tops, which I still have, they're just stitch. There's like a whole bunch of stitches in them because it's just comfortable. That said, the Sitka super lightweight hoodie, like the really paper thin one, I really like that one too. And it's synthetic, but it's got that antibacterial silver kind of thing inside of it. I forget what they call it right now. And that's really nice as well. But it's not as comfortable on day 6, 7, 8 as merino is. Merino seems to just go forever. So, but the Sitka version that's synthetic is a little tougher. Still, I think that these new merino tops from Mountain Ops are well worth the cost, and you have another nice piece of gear for hunting season. All right, that's it. I hope you enjoy this podcast. I hope you've been enjoying the video series. Appreciate all the support, and let's get into this. Welcome to the Gritty Podcast. Here we are in bear camp again, and it was a slow day today.
Pretty uneventful day, to say the least. Yeah, we had some weather.
Yeah,
rolling through here pretty consistently.
Yeah, we're basically glassing. We have a lot of country we can see.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like, we're not venturing away from our camp where we're at. We're still able to glass up some great country. We got a couple areas, big areas that I fully expect to see a bear before we get out of here.
Yeah, so we're good that way. And we hung out today, glassed all day in between rain squalls, and we got hit like every 40 minutes or so.
About
30
that.
minutes.
Yeah, every time you think, well, is it gone? You can kind of just see a cloud rolling in, and sure enough, here it comes. So,
which is it? Now's the time to ask that question. What does 30% chance of rain mean? Like it's going to rain 30% of the time, or
I go with 30% chance means it's going to rain.
Well, that's what it was today. It meant rain.
In the backcountry, you see 30% chance.
You're getting wet.
You're getting wet. I think I mentioned this. It's total flip flop. Like, if you're putting in for a tag and it's got 30% chance, I feel like I'm probably not going to draw it. But if it says 30% chance of rain, it's raining.
You're getting wet. Yeah, we've been using the InReach to get weather. Which is really handy. The Garmin can send off for your weather forecast, and so we know what today. We knew today was going to be like that. We thought we might make a run for an area, but it would have meant getting just dumped on a couple of times.
Yeah,
and then you'd have to deal with drying out your stuff, which we could have. But
quite honestly, though, I mean, do you feel rushed? It feels like we still got quite a few days left.
Yep,
and like you say, we've said this before, every day it feels like it's getting better, it's getting greener,
right?
More bears out.
Well, and in my experience, you can chime in, but in conditions like these, I've never really seen bears moving much. They don't like to get wet.
No.
From BC to Southeast Alaska to Oregon, when I've hunted bears, I mean, when the rain comes out, the bears disappear.
It's true. Yeah, it's pretty rare.
What do you think that is about?
I don't know. Big sissies.
They don't seem to like to get wet.
No.
But they'll jump in water on a hot day, I guess.
Yeah, and
different.
Saying that, like I don't think I've ever seen one in a rainstorm. But there's also this thing where, springtime, you don't see a lot of bears in the morning either. But as soon as you think you're not going to see one,
you see one.
Yeah. More times than not, that's happened. And so you can't really lean on that. Like, no need to get up early. Yeah. Don't come out in the morning. But it's just not true. It's more times than not. You don't see them till noon on, but you do see them in the morning.
Yeah. We've been running on one InReach because,
you had to bring that up, didn't you? Should have known.
Ryan left his down the mountain.
So Brian asked me, he's like, hey, what's the weather doing tomorrow? So I pull it out of my pack, I turn it on. And
you have the mini. It's just this tiny thing the size of a quarter.
I was working on my raft, and I kind of set it off to the side.
In the grass. And I thought,
I didn't want to step on it. yeah, and I was like, doing all this stuff with the raft, and man, sure enough, got in a haste. It was starting to get dark, and I left it there.
And
So
mostly,
I didn't.
I blame James for one because he doesn't have a headset on right now, so he can't defend himself. But also because we were worried about his life with his inexperience paddling, and we were focused on his safety.
That's what it was, really. I was worried. I tried to educate him a little bit on what to do, and he did it backwards pretty much. He went the wrong way.
Pretty much hit every rock along there.
Yeah, he bounced his way down. No, he
It's
did
fine.
all right. His exit was terrible, but he did okay.
The exit was terrible. I saw it.
James, what you want to talk about what James has got going on over here?
Yes.
We've talked about James's diet before, a little bit about his sugar addiction.
I worry about his future
Yeah, I know.
a little bit.
It's a little scary. And we try to work on him, and then what does he do on this trip? He goes like full nuclear and comes with a heavy hitting Spam can.
A full can of Spam. And what did he say tonight? The only thing he regrets is that he didn't bring 2
cans of Spam. So he's boiling Spam.
Can I see that can? I've actually never eaten Spam.
Yeah, it's ramen and Spam.
Yeah.
But it's okay because it's 25% less sodium Spam. So he claims.
Ingredients: pork with ham, mechanically separated, chicken, water, salt, modified potato starch, sugar, sodium phosphates, potassium chloride, sodium nitrite. When it says pork with ham, like technically which part of the animal is it? That's a question I have. Sizzle, pork, and For more fun ideas, visit spam.com. Does it have some MSG in it, didn't you say?
I don't know, quite honestly. You'd think it would. Seems
Well,
like one of those things that'd be full of monosodium glutamate.
You said you were eating that stuff, Ryan, when you were in the 80s?
My dad used to love it. Yeah, he used to have, like his mornings would consist of, what was that, like Swiss mocha? Remember Swiss mocha in a can? It's still around, but he'd do Swiss mocha and he'd have like thin strips of Spam fried, like crispy.
Yeah.
And then like cinnamon toast. Not the picture of health, but I was telling James, like,
toast.
the last time I had Spam was probably in the late 80s. It was a long time ago. But we used to have it at deer camp. And, there'd always be like Nally chili, Denny Moore stew in a can, and then a lot of Spam cans. But I haven't had it in a long time.
Those days are over, though.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, there's better options.
Yeah.
But James never ceases to surprise us.
I had an uncle who ate quite a bit of Spam, but he also ate a lot of kipper snacks and sardines and stuff.
Yeah.
Got me onto those, but I've never actually eaten Spam. It's like a square hot dog.
Yeah.
Something.
We'll see if you can get through this night without taking a little nibble.
I can smell the Spam from here. It smells like cat food that
It
just
does.
came out of a can. I'm telling you, it's just like cat food. You're eating cat food.
You crack a can of Spam. It does. It smells exactly like when you crack a can of like
Dog food, cat food.
cat food. Yeah.
I'm going to try a piece, I think, so I could, see what I've been missing all these years. But I think it's going to do something
can't.
to my system.
I don't know. I haven't had it boiled like James does it, but when you fry it, it like real crispy. It does taste pretty good. I'll admit. What I remember of it.
With the top ramen. I don't just boil the meat and eat it. I boil it
Yeah.
with the top ramen.
The ramen makes it
Yeah, I guess
palatable.
only boiled if it's in top ramen. So moving on. You left your in reach, but it's James' fault.
Yeah. I was worried for his safety.
That's a handy tool.
Absolutely. No, it's like twofold. You get to kind of what I haven't been able to do is text my wife and check in on what's going on in the real world with the COVID and everything else. But yeah, when you're on extended trips like this, weather's constantly changing. So kind of look at your phone before you leave and you see like the 10-day. But then you want to check in like 3-4 days in and just kind of see the updates. And
Right.
And yeah, having the ability to just check it daily, get the new forecast is pretty valuable.
It would be rough to be out here, you know, and not know that your family's okay for as many days as we get out here.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, inevitably they'll have like something come up, whether it's work related or with the kids or something like that. And at least you have the ability, some peace of mind to, you know, chime in and help out a little bit.
The sat phones cost a lot. They're heavier and you don't have the battery life. And like my InReach, I had it on every day for 5 days, and I have the bigger one,
right?
Explorer or whatever that model is. And I still had 25% battery when we got back. And so it's pretty handy, you know?
Yeah.
Gets the job done.
Yeah, I've been running the Mini for the last couple of years, and I used to run the bigger one as well. You got a different version than what I had for sure. You got more of an updated version.
Yeah,
it's way bigger, but yeah, the Minis suited me just fine. I mean, it shoots messages out.
That's my next
pretty fast
move is the Mini. It's just
small,
saves you some weight.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it works great as long as you sync it up with your phone. You're quick to send messages to the folks back home. So.
Another piece of equipment or some stuff that you brought that I'm curious about. You shared some of your glorious bone broth with me the other day.
And it is glorious, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's delicious, man.
That is a backpacking necessity, in my opinion.
It's my new favorite thing to add to the pile of food that I bring.
And I make a lot of bone broth at home.
Right.
So I think what I'd like to do is I'd like to get some of what they're making, what you've been using, but also augment it with my own stuff too.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know. You kind of run out of bone broth. I don't know. We do pretty quick.
Yeah.
Kind of down it and back home, and then it's not packable. But when you're out of bone broth, these little packets of beef bone broth or chicken bone broth, chicken bone broth. They're so good, and they're healthy. All grass fed, really clean ingredients in there. No junk. I'll add a little bit of like Redmond sea salt to it on the beef stuff. A little bit, just makes it taste even better.
Who makes it?
Lono Life.
Lono, LON.
LONO Life. Yep. Lono Life.
How'd you discover this stuff?
Oh gosh, I found some at Costco. I think it was a long time ago.
Really? And
started drinking the beef bone broth, and like quickly realized, like, man, I've been missing out in the backcountry because, like I say, we were out of just broth for the house in the mason jars, but this stuff is packable, and it's a pretty cool little company. They do a bunch of different things. I mean, like right now, I'm drinking one of their little mocha collagen peptide drinks for we're getting ready to go to sleep here. And they also do coffee. It's like everything's got protein in it. Like I do their little protein packet coffee, and it's got 10 grams in there, and every stick of bone broth, it's got 10 grams of protein in it. All clean stuff. So I dig it.
The peptides and the whatnot, that stuff you find does help?
I don't know. I like the taste of it.
Yeah.
I'm not. Hillary, my wife, could speak way better to, the peptides and all that kind of stuff. And the collagen obviously is really good, but I like the taste, and I just like it how clean it is, honestly.
Yeah.
And the coffee's good, and gives me a little pick me up, and it's got a little protein in it too. So
the electrolytes that you've been using, I've been using too, the liquid IV. I like those. I've been using those for a couple of years now.
Yeah. Yeah, they're good. They taste good.
They taste good.
They're pretty good.
I don't know. You kind of crave them, especially on some of those hot days where we're just gushing fluid, sweating so much.
Yeah. I don't find myself drinking like water, just like straight water up here very much.
Yeah.
It's usually got something in it, whether it's a little lemon.
Well, there's a lot of float and dirt in our water, so it's nice to flavor it a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now and then you get a crisp stream, but when we're melting snow on the mountain, which was something we didn't talk about before, when we had to drop 2,000 feet down to where your bear was and climb back up.
That's right.
The river was at the bottom. water was at the bottom.
Yeah, we're 2,000 feet away from the water, creek, river, whatever you want to call it. It was a creek, turned into a river. But yeah, when you're in a spot like where we were, to get that vantage to look into that hole, we were fortunate because the north side of this ridge had snow on it.
Lots of snow.
Yeah, good snow. So we were able to park it up there and get, clean water daily, and we burned through a lot of it. And there's no way we could have done that without the snow. I mean, we'd have had to haul a crud ton of water up there, and it would just wipe us out.
You couldn't camp up there.
No.
You'd have to camp somewhere, sacrifice your vantage and all that.
No. Yeah, for sure. And there's a few different ways. I mean, you can, if you bring extra fuel for your mini mow, jet boil, cooker, whatever you're using, there's one way to easily, melt snow. Of course, it's just like the most obvious, but we all run these hydro packs now. I love these hydro packs. I've been using them for a while. And, they're kind of a black material, and just pack that thing full of snow and set it on that hot top there out in the sun, and it just melts. You end up getting quite a bit of water just doing that while you're up there glassing. And then, James and I, we had this little titanium wood stove up there too, the cold mornings, and just kind of drying out the condensation in the tent. And, I just pack my jet boil cup full of snow, set it on the fire as we go to sleep, or get up in the morning, and you end up with this, 20 ounces or so of fresh water. So constantly just trying to replenish the water. Oh, look at that. James is serving you.
Ooh, some
your
spam. My first taste of spam. Thank you, James.
He says it's not the best he's ever cooked. That's the caveat there. I don't know.
It's a little better than a hot dog.
What I remember of it, it tasted pretty good.
It does taste good.
It doesn't look good, but it tasted pretty good.
Look, it's been around since what, the 70s?
It's been around
60s?
Yeah. I think if
it's been around that long, it's got to taste good.
I think
especially
Hawaiians love it, right?
Especially when we're all too smart to be eating it because it's not good for you.
I lived in Hawaii for quite a few years.
They love spam over there.
It's a delicacy there.
I don't know. I remember my dad used to thin strip it and just burn it it'd be crispy on both sides. I don't know. It tastes pretty good. But
that is good. You could eat the whole can.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel right.
Brian's going to be packing spam up next time. Got a base camp.
You know what I think?
Just converted him, James. Nice work.
The bear. You cook up the bear, and then you take a little bit of spam to go with each bear bite, and that would be like bacon wrapped.
Bacon wrapped, spam wrapped bear. Yeah, that'd be good.
Really good with egg.
You're a spam expert, aren't you, James?
Hey, it's good in sushi.
Yeah. James is going to have you eating honey stingers, pixie sticks, and spam.
I've had James eating Mountain Ops Electrolyte pixie sticks. He's digging those. Those are kind of handy. They're straight to mouth. I don't have to mix it in my drink. Get a little salt and flavor without mixing it in my water bottle.
Yeah. Yep.
Kind of handy. Lona Life stuff. Do you have a link to that stuff on your website? Like the foods you're bringing? Some of your meals?
I don't know if I have that on there. I did just do a video prior to Gear List. I don't think I put it up there yet. I'm bad at that, but I will here shortly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they're super cool company. I talked to the gals that one of the gals that worked there as well, and she was like, they don't have a whole lot of hunters using their products.
Yeah.
But she was totally cool with it. She's like, man, that's awesome. She wasn't a hunter herself, but she knows people that did. And she was super cool about it.
What'd you think of my dried mangoes?
Those were good.
They're nice change.
I like them. Yeah. Dude, I think anything dry, talked about this before, I dry a bunch of melons, honeydews, cantaloupe was really good, pineapples, mangoes. It's
Apples.
all great up here. Apples,
bananas.
pears, bananas. That's kind of my favorite thing. And, I do a lot of leathers, whether it's apple, pear, or a lot of sweet potato, apple, cinnamon type leathers. It's kind of like the food I look forward to eating. up here.
I've been smashing the same thing. I dried tons of apples and bananas and the mangoes and the half sweet potato, half apple or some applesauce. That's into a fruit leather. That's money.
Yep.
And it's a lot better than some hard sugar or something like what James is doing.
Yeah, I mean, that guy's straight pixie stick. He could do ramen, pixie sticks, and spam. He'd do it every day. But no, it's fun. You know, you get into making your own, and you always kind of want to like expand your what you're making and try new things and
right.
Do a lot of food yourself with the dehydrator.
All my own jerky.
Yep.
And I never get tired of my own jerky. It's like made how I want it. Mm-hmm. And it's so easy. It's ridiculous.
It is super easy. I mean, if you have like a good dehydrator, and there's so many recipes online now.
Yeah.
You can just make it if you like sweet or whatever.
Salty,
spicy, which you wouldn't eat, but man, it's just something good to have in your repertoire there. So always playing with different meals and snacks. And just cookies. Like I make those cookies all the time, and I'm always like varying them a little bit. But
the ones that you brought this time, they're special. It's like the creamy peanut butter filling of a semi-natural peanut butter cup with coconut on the outside.
Yeah.
Like seriously, they're not like the hemp ones I've had in the past. They're just different what you did this time.
Well, this time it's like 4 ingredients, you know. It's like I use that unstirred Adams peanut butter, running that with a little bit of honey and some oats, straight oats, and then just rolling those up into a ball and smashing them and then dipping them in shredded coconut, and that's it.
Stupid good.
Stupid good, stupid easy, and ridiculously cheap.
A lot cheaper than my perfect bars.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you go buy bars these days, and yeah, there's good ones out there, but you can make your own for so dirt cheap. If you go through a lot, you spend a lot of days on the mountain, might as well.
The other thing that we had in camp today, since we're in a base camp, you know, we've been spiking out from here. We have a lot more gear here at the base camp. You brought some sausages.
Yep.
That you made.
Yep.
And then we put our little marmalade on top of it that you also made. Mm-hmm. What's in the pepper marmalade exactly?
So
it's like a jelly.
Yeah, it's basically just a jelly with, I think that one had some of the red peppers I had in the garden and also some minced garlic.
Oh.
And there's a billion different recipes and ways you can do it, but it's real simple, and you just can it up, jar it up, and pull it out when you do a trip.
That's so good.
And that with like any kind of meat, like, I made a bunch of like venison summer sausage, and I did a bunch of cheddar and stuff and jalapeno cheddar and just a bunch of different ways to do it. And then, you put a little bit of that jalapeno spread on there, and it just makes it extra good. And when you have a base camp, you can kind of bring a few extras like that. It kind of adds a little bit.
Yeah, I like that. That was tasty. Mm-hmm. Back to the hunt, I had another question for you. We both have the newer Weatherby Backcountry TI rifle.
Right.
We shot a bunch with that, practiced with them before we got here. Mm-hmm. And it's a killer shooting rifle. Like,
oh, it shoots great.
It shoots great, and it's so light.
It's 4.9 pounds.
My question was and is, when it comes to shooting an animal with it, my concern was it's not a 300 Win Mag. Like, it's not a cannon.
Right.
How do I feel about this caliber? And it's a 6.5 RPM, Weatherby RPM. So now that you've, taken this out, what are you thinking so far?
I'm liking it. I mean, one critter so far with it, and it did everything I hoped it would. It's a real fast gun. It's got pretty quick speeds, and it's just an easy gun to shoot, even for how light it is.
Yeah.
I think you got the brake on yours too. Brake makes it real easy.
It's easy to shoot.
It's easy to shoot, and it's, I got a little bipod on there, but I'm still under just right around 6.5 pounds. And then I popped that little precision bipod off the end of it. on the magnet there. 6.5 pounds. You'd think it'd be a little bit of a pop, but in that caliber, it's not. It's just not. It's just easy, fun gun to shoot. Very accurate, fast. And I've talked to a lot of guys that are kind of 6'5" guys. A lot of guys are into the PRC. Another great caliber, and guys are really digging them. And I was a little hesitant for the longest time because I've been super happy with my 300. Well, I've shot that 300 for a lot of years.
Yeah.
But when you throw a little 4.9 pound option on there, and that just made my pack a whole lot lighter, and I'm not really losing anything. An accurate shot is an accurate shot.
Yeah.
And you're going to put anything down with it. So,
yeah, that's the weight and how well it shoots. I mean, definitely not a cannon. It doesn't kick and make the sound like a 300 does. But you rocked that bear, just boom, and he went tumbling.
Yeah, sent him off a cliff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was. We're like, oh no, he rolled. That was wild. But I'm excited to continue.
Yeah, I'm super happy with it. I'm excited too, and I just don't feel like I'm losing anything, but I'm saving all that weight. So
yeah,
it's just it's kind of what we always look for, and I don't feel like I'm losing. Again, though, I'm not a 1,000-yard guy, so
yeah,
I always shoot for that 300.
Well, we were talking about that today, James, too. We're filming. Getting your kit lightweight is critical, and camera gear and photographing. And camera gear weighs quite a bit. And when you throw on additionally your spotter and your tripod and your other optic, plus you got a 400 millimeter camera lens and doubler and camera bodies and batteries, you're just microphones. I mean, you
gotta
already
save it where you can.
You got to,
because you guys are packing. I don't have any camera equipment, but you guys are packing some big old lenses, and film a hunt like this, you have to have all those little extras and batteries and all that. So you guys are packing some serious weight. But
getting the camera gear kit stripped down to just what you need for a 5 or 6 day trip, as we go on different spike outs, by the time we're coming back, I've rationed my batteries. I've rationed everything kind of just right. And that's from experience. I have just 2 lenses. I'd love to carry more. I just can't. And some things that have really made a huge difference in us being able to film in the backcountry, because we can't really reduce the camera gear kit any further than we have. Like, I've stripped it down. So you got to save in other areas. And the rifle for me was substantial from last year's setup to this year.
You lost a bunch of weight.
Multiple pounds.
Yeah. Yep.
And then the other part that really has made a huge difference is the shelters. A Seek Outside Cimarron, like 1.5 pounds.
Well, that's the thing. It's so light. Like, you and I were having a conversation prior to this hunt, which shelters do we want to run? We're going to have 3 guys, kind of doing the numbers, and like, well, could run a small, could run a little solo, but there's a Cimarron that's only 1.5 pounds, and with the stove, one guy could easily pack that up. You're not losing much for weight at 1.5 pounds. And, you just have like a Taj Mahal in there. It's huge for one guy. So that's what we ended up doing.
Yeah.
We brought 2 Cimarrons for 3 guys, and there's a ton of space for the guy going solo. It's awfully nice versus being cramped.
Right.
Especially, you get days like this where you're kind of stuck sitting out of the weather. I've spent lots of days like that in a little MSR hubba.
Yeah.
Where you're just fogged in and you're just kind of stuck. It's pouring rain. And there's just no place to move, and it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah, and the fire option is a big deal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, James and I were burning. We kind of go to sleep with a little bit of fire, and then in the mornings, it's nice to just kind of like melt some snow, burn off all the condensation, and just kind of wake up to a little bit of heat quick and easy. And why not? It's, again, this stove option is, I brought that U-turn stove, and they managed to shave off, another 12 ounces on that thing.
Yeah. What's the total weight now?
I don't know. How
It's like
many
1.5
ounces.
pounds.
It's ridiculously light.
Yeah.
They took 3 sides away and basically used
Stovepipe material
to wrap around it.
It's genius.
And it works slick too. There's nothing lost that I've seen.
That's the thing. Losing multiple pounds on the rifle and losing multiple pounds on the shelter, and yet having a spacious, large shelter and a stove just gives you so much comfort in the backcountry where you don't mind being out there. You're comfortable. Having heat is huge.
Yep.
But having the space, like you said. Now we're in the LBO at our base camp here.
Right.
The little bug out.
One of my favorite shelters. I love this thing. It's been great for the family. I've used this for a lot of family camping trips.
3 tents in one or 2 tents in one.
Yeah, it's got an end cap to it, 2 end caps and a middle. The middle's the tarp. It's kind of like 2 halves of a teepee separated with a section in the middle. So you can tear this thing down, run just a half a shelter or half a teepee. If you're early season, just need a little bit of something, you can put the pieces together and run a full teepee, or run it like we're running with all 3 pieces together, and you're still just under 3 pounds, but it's huge in here.
Yeah.
You know? We've got a ton of space. We throw a stove up if we want. It's got a stove jack right in the center, and it's just super spacious. I love the design of this thing. It's probably the most versatile combo out there that you could run because you can piece it however you want it.
Right. Now on this one, they don't have it in Dyneema Cuban fiber yet.
No, I think you could ask them to build you one in Dyneema, and I think they probably would. They're pretty good about customizing things. What Kevin has told me, if people want, like he asked me where I wanted the stovepipe, and he's like, some people want it on the end, so we'll put it on the end if that's where you want it, or in the middle, and they're very good at customizing what people want. So
makes spending time in here and contrasting sil nylon to Dyneema. I've always been a huge fan of Cuban fiber.
Right.
I like how it doesn't stretch.
It's tough too. I mean, it's so light. If you just look at it, you think it wouldn't hold up. It looks pretty like it would just rip or tear real easily. It's tough material. And yeah, you and I have talked about it. It just doesn't stretch. Sil nylon stretches a little bit, so you have to reset the stakes,
which we had to do.
Yeah.
In this tent, it kind of can get hot and then cold, and then the stakes, and as it sits, it stretches.
Yep. Then
you got to reseat your stakes and adjust it. A lot of times on a sil nylon shelter, you set it up, and then an hour later, you restake it. Well, I like that with Cuban fiber, I don't have to deal with that.
Right. No, it's just...
They have their pros and cons.
It doesn't stretch.
But for me, it's mostly pros when it comes to the...
Yeah, I think the big con is the cost. It's expensive.
It is.
But in this time where everybody's trying to shave ounces, what an easy way to shave ounces.
Yeah.
If you got the funds to, pony up a little extra quite a bit extra to go Cuban fiber, well worth it. Definitely saves a ton of weight.
And then when you take sleeping bags and sleeping pads the way they are today, you can shed so much weight there too. I would be curious about, where I have some weight that I'm like, is there a way to get this lighter and not sacrifice anything? Is around the stove,
Oh, the cooking
stove,
the Minimo. Yeah. Yeah, and there is, there's good and bad. They make some tiny little stove, just little pocket stoves. Yeah. But you also have to pack in whatever you're cooking it on, as a topper. Right. Got to have something there. So you can't just look at a stove and see that it's 1.5 ounces and think, wow, I'm going to save from my 16 ounces of Minimo.
Yeah.
You still got to get a pot to cook in. You can definitely find them for pretty lightweight there.
You're just not saving enough weight for what you sacrifice.
The efficiency of these self-contained little stoves that we're running, that Minimo, you get so long out of one canister of fuel. It's incredible.
And that pin valve.
I just haven't seen one, or nobody's proven to me that they're as efficient as these are.
They last forever. Your can of gas lasts forever.
It
But
does.
but also you can cook them Spam on it.
We just got,
Like on an
James just cooked
MSR
Spam.
Pocket Rocket,
right.
it's like either all on or all off. You know,
Absolutely. Which is why I love the dang mini mo, and I went away from those like
Jet boil.
flashes and those
The-
just all or nothing. Because you can toggle it down to just a real small orange flame, or you can blast to a blue flame if you want to torch it. But when you turn it down really light, I mean, I've cooked everything from like morel mushrooms to, like on a bear hunt last year, you just render some fat. You kind of want to do that at a low temp, and then throw bear meat in, and boiled grouse, stuff like that. Hey, you just don't want like a blast.
Yep.
You want it to toggle down pretty slow.
Well,
I will sacrifice until something comes out that like is drastically better, lighter, more efficient, whatever. I'm pretty dang happy with the Minimo myself.
Yeah,
So,
me too. It's getting late. We should hit the sack. Tomorrow morning we're gonna get up bright and early, glass our basins,
Yep.
and then pack up and
Glass what's close, and then we're gonna hike quite a ways off. Check out a new
area we've never
whole
been.
new area.
Yeah. And the forecast looks good. The forecast looks
Brian,
like no rain.
We had rain, like I say, all day today, like on and off.
Yeah.
And then we're looking at this forecast, and here in 2 days, we've got the hottest weather yet to come. And we've got 2 days of good heat. It's going to shoot everything up. The grasses, everything.
We should get fresh green stuff everywhere.
It's going to be great.
So far we've only seen one bear, and the one you took. So
Not worried about it.
No.
We're going to get them.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
It's only getting better.
Absolutely.
So,
No, I'm enjoying myself back here.
me too.
We had a couple of slow days. It's going to happen here.
It's nice
in
to
the
have
end.
time.
Yeah.
It makes, so often, you plan a trip like this and it's a 5-day trip or a 6-day trip, especially when a guy has work and he's burning a week of vacation. But man, if it's possible to take 10 to 14-day trips, they just have a different feel.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a lot less stress, right? You're not so panicked about having a couple of weather days or whatever. I always recommend guys go for 10.
Yeah.
Go for 10. You're going to get some great days amongst that. You're going to have time to figure it out. Obviously, work type things come up and people can't do that. But if you can, allows you to check places off the map that you want to look at that are new. Maybe fall back to some places that you've seen before that were good to you. And with that many days, it just allows for all that, and it's usually a pretty successful way to go.
You also hunt different. Like there's a slower pace to it where you can be patient.
Right.
And you can say, I'm going to sit in this basin maybe for 2 or 3 days. But normally you give it 1 day. There's no bear or no game. I'm out.
Yeah.
And in this, you can kind of it's just different. It feels different. I like it. Anthony used to tell me years ago, he would only start to feel at home in the backcountry, like really at home after 6-7 days. And then around 10, 11, 12, 13, like he really started to feel in his element and dialed. And a lot of guys never get past a 5-day.
Sure.
And it's not until you've really spent some time out there that you really experience the deep benefits, I think, of it in a different way.
Yeah, and also, we're in a pretty good place compared to every time you think like, man, it's kind of slow. There's a lot of folks not able to go hunting right now.
Right.
There's folks that can't get out in their state and hunt.
Anytime outdoors is good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, I remember taking some long trips, but those were more rare than the norm,
Yep.
But man, I really am enjoying the longer trips nowadays that I'm fortunate to be able to take.
Yeah, and we get to learn so many new basins, so much new country in that amount of time.
It's like a little explorer.
Yep.
Yeah,
and that's half the battle, right? Just when you get all those places figured out and you're e-scouting and when you're in a new area like we are, you have to check. You put 10 X's on there, and a lot of it is just going through and checking places off the map.
Just
That's
a
not
theory.
a spot I'll never go back to.
Yeah.
Or that is a spot I just won't go. And then you inevitably come across a couple of gold mines. So we've done that over and over and over.
Right.
And eventually you got a pretty good hit list of places that are going to always pan out.
The amount of sheep that we saw this week in a couple of pockets just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Sheep everywhere.
Seen a lot of sheep. A lot of sheep. Some good ones.
Yeah. And then you move to another area and you don't see any sheep.
Yeah.
You know, it's yet the country looks kind of the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not a sheep
Figure
guy.
that stuff
I
out.
definitely don't know a whole lot about sheep and how they move on the mountain much, but yeah, we sure see a lot of them these days.
Yeah.
Pretty cool to watch them, and especially when you get your glass on a big old sucker, full curl, and he's running with 5-6 other guys that are pretty similar.
Yeah.
But
We got to see a little bit of.
yeah, no, I think
That's
we've
cool.
got a little bit of video of some pretty good rams. So
They're real white right now.
yep, easy to pick up.
All right. Well, let's hit the sack. And then we're going to take off for 4 or 5 days, and then unless something happens. So we'll check back in, do another update.
Sounds good.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay gritty, folks.